Dean, our partners, they sell a lot of cool tech.
They do.
There's mobile computers,
Yes.
POS systems,
Yes.
digital signage, printers, RFID,
Wow.
et cetera,
Yes.
all
Yes.
kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
Most of that stuff is designed to like send and receive data, communicate with other systems.
Yes.
So it's kind of only as good as the networks that it's connected to, right?
Great point.
I mean,
and the
otherwise it's just a
connectivity
mechanical
thereof.
brick and the connectivity.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So is that, connectivity something that you, dear listener, are selling?
Ooh.
I would hope so. You should be. We think
right.
so.
Yes.
Or are you out there just leaving it to specialized providers, mobile carriers,
No
your
doubt.
competitors?
Yes. Other people taking pieces of your pie.
Right. And if you are selling network solutions to yourself, do you have the support that you need to deliver reliable hardware?
Do
and
you find
services?
yourself on an island of no support?
Exactly.
Maybe not the right partners to be with?
Yeah. Well, hey, guess what? We're going to answer these questions. We actually already did in a webinar that we had last week with our team of BlueStar networking and connectivity experts. But we didn't want you to miss out if you missed that as well.
Right.
So if you weren't able to attend, we're presenting that discussion in a special episode here of the podcast.
Bingo.
Why work with BlueStar for this technology? What's our approach and the experience of our team? Spoiler alert, it's a lot of experience.
Yes.
Minimum 30 years.
What? I know.
That's pretty impressive.
It's
I gotta
like,
say.
was wireless even around 30 years ago? I don't know. Was it still in DARPA? Well, I don't know. I don't want not to offend our.
I'm glad it's a question you didn't ask the panel. They might have all hung up in the middle of the webinar on us. So no, they acknowledge they've been at it for a while.
Absolutely.
Who are we partnering with? How do we go out and vet them? And finally, how can we make it easy for you to go out and deliver these tailored and ready to deploy?
Really
solutions?
important. There you go.
As a bonus, Dean and I barely have anything to say in this one.
I know,
so
right?
you can just listen to some experts talking for most of it and not us goofballs for a change.
Yeah.
I'm John Martin.
And I'm Dean Reverman.
Welcome to Blue Star Nation. Blue Star Nation podcast is brought to you by ELO. In a world... Oh, hang on. I got to do this in my movie voice. In a world where technology evolves rapidly, your customers' legacy POS infrastructure may be silently holding their business back. Help them future-proof with ELO's flexible, open platform. All right, I gotta stop doing that. There's only so long I can hold that voice. Yeah, you gotta,
Very nice.
You got to put some of the bongs in there.
Yeah.
ELO's enterprise-grade hardware platform provides the modern foundation that retailers need, delivering standardized architecture with an open compatibility across today's leading software solutions and tomorrow's innovations. ELO's modular approach, we love the modular approach, seamlessly integrates emerging technologies while maintaining enterprise-wide consistency, eliminating the proprietary constraints that have historically locked retailers into those outdated ecosystems. By transitioning customers to ELO's flexible platform, you're not just upgrading their hardware, you're future-proofing their entire technology strategy with a solution design to evolve alongside customer expectations and market demands. So,
love that point.
Why choose ELO? I mean,
Why would we do that? I mean, why
I would
choose
hope you
ELO?
get it already, but software-agnostic platforms.
Oh, there you go.
Smart.
Good.
Enterprise-grade support, commercial-grade durability, and an extensive partner ecosystem, all built around ELO's lineup of flexible, scalable hardware peripherals, payment devices, and again, that modularity for any business need.
Boom.
I'm sold.
I'm sold.
I don't know about you. To learn more, check out the link in the show notes or contact the Blue Star ELO team. So, without further ado, I want to introduce those experts. One right here in the studio with us, we've got John Haberer. He is a practice manager for network infrastructure. John, thanks for joining us. We have Jim HIlton on the line. He is our director of networking and connectivity. Thanks for the wave there, Jim. Chris Dollinger is our director of emerging technologies out of Canada. And also in Canada, we have Kenton Janzen, our business technology liaison. There is a wealth of expertise here.
There is.
We're going to tell you a little bit more about that later.
Yes.
But I just wanted to kind of introduce them quickly up front. But let's dive in, though, because people are here to try to figure out, like, hey, why is BlueStar doing this networking thing?
Why have we done this? Yes.
Yeah, why
are we getting into this for?
What are you guys
Where's
doing
the opportunity?
here?
Yeah.
Should I be working with you? What have I already been doing? So, Jim, I want you to kick us off here. When I asked people to register, we asked them a question like, hey, are you already currently selling networking connectivity solutions? About a quarter of respondents said they were not yet. So those are some folks I think we want to address first. So from your perspective, Jim, why should people be selling this stuff? What's the pitch for selling networking connectivity solutions? And what do they stand to lose if they're not actually offering those?
All right, you just gave me my target audience of those that are not, because what I've got to talk about is why. I think it's 2018. I sat through one of those TED Talks in New York, and Qualcomm was giving this presentation, and he started elaborating about where communications was going over the next 4 to 5 to 6 years. And it stuck in my head because he literally talked about how networking was going to be rapidly changing, number one, from where it was in 2018, and gave some what I thought at the moment absurd examples of using light posts in neighborhoods as connectivity. And I kind of called BS on that part, but the rest of it was really insightful and has stuck with me to this day. The beauty of this is, if you want to advance the slide once, this is not intended to be a slideshow presentation, but I do have some color here. Went out to IDC on one report that lays out how often our customers, your customers, are looking at network refresh. And I won't walk you through this entire thing, but this slide really breaks it down by end user employee count, up to 1,000, 1 to 5,000, and 5,000 and above. But the big point here, to cut to the chase of this slide, is literally 90+% of all those entities surveyed is in some sort of refresh cycle in less than 4 years. Mm-hmm. Some of them less than literally every year. So what that told me is there's, number one, that was a pretty dynamic number. But what that told me was that there's a sales cycle going on right now. There's one starting, there's one middle, and there's one culminating right now. So why develop a strategy? Because there's business to be had. There's change among us. And in the case of networking, sometimes it's not obvious. You've got to dig and you've got to ask the question. You've got to develop a strategy to go there. Advance to the next slide. The next slide literally validated that same number. That was a pronounced number, so I went and got another report that said the same thing. Mm-hmm. So enough on this, because it validated the first one. What they did with it was eye-opening to me. In other words, while they're looking at their network refresh, what is their answer? And that's the third slide. And this really does answer the question. Over 66% were looking for failover. So their existing Wi-Fi, they decided not to touch it, but what they did decide to do is put a safety net underneath it. 66%. And then the other major number to me was over 27% were effectively moving to a secure 5G environment altogether and setting aside what I would call traditional Wi-Fi. There's business out there for us to be had.
Mm-hmm. You know what I like about this slide, Jim, is that this VDC research, that's in our world. This is a mobility research, right? Mm-hmm. These are the folks that our customers are dealing with on a daily basis, right?
There you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Chris, Kenton, John, any other thoughts on the pitch for selling connectivity, as if this didn't somehow convince someone?
The numbers alone? Yeah.
I can't imagine why it wouldn't, but.
This is pretty common sense right here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then, Chris, let's jump onto the other side of the equation then, which is, all right, for the folks that are already doing this, and again, about 3/4, I think, of the people that registered said that they were already selling these solutions, but maybe they're not working with us, or maybe they don't think of us as a networking and connectivity partner. So why are we involved in this? Why is this becoming part of our tech stack and what we're trying to go out there and do? What's our approach to the technology, and why should they be partnering with us?
Well, what's interesting about that is when we looked at the networking portfolio or space years and years ago, our first thought was maybe this isn't for us. It was crowded, it was noisy. What were we going to do about that? However, it didn't take very long for us to have our aha moment in why we would want to enter this thing. And that aha moment was simply based around the fact that pretty much everything we sell today and have been selling connects to some type of network. And the word is connect and network there, and also requires some type of security. So in the end of the day, when we're out there providing our partner channel with a solution such as our point of sale terminals, digital signage, barcode scanners, computing devices, the list goes on and on and on. Our partners were sort of saying to us, well, can you help complete the tech stack rather than just being a portion of that? And what would that look like? And so outside of that, we sort of said, well, this becomes really, really important for us to continue to provide value to the reseller channel.
Great.
And above and beyond that, or just to add on to what Chris is saying here, right? The partners were asking for it, but we felt it was important to implement, the kind of people that you're seeing as a part of this webinar, the kind of mindset and the kind of solutions that we can bring to bear to help our resellers out, because our resellers, or the resellers that live in this world, are unique, right? They're not traditional IT resellers. They're not living in the cloud, living in the server room, those kinds of things. So we felt that there was a need in the marketplace, and as Chris mentioned, the direct ask from our partners, hey, we could use some help on this front.
Yeah.
So yeah,
definitely. Any other thoughts from the rest of you guys about the why work with us pitch?
Well, I do have one. Candidly, by the end of this conversation, hopefully what we're looking to become for you, our listeners and our trusted advisors, we become your trusted advisor. If you've got a question about this, you've got the group on the call right here to get the answer. And we're standing here for you. So that's why partner with BlueStar in my term.
Yeah. And Jim, if I could add to that, and I'll talk a little bit differently about why partnering with BlueStar. But first of all, if you're on the line and you work with BlueStar already, you've already made that decision to trust us to work with us, and you've also gotten to know how we operate. But if you're on the line and you're saying, "Oh, I've never even heard of BlueStar," or "I don't even know what BlueStar does in networking and connectivity," it was years and years and years ago that our founder, Steve Kuntz, started to instill in this organization a concept of seeing everything through to the end with our resellers, picking up a shovel, if I could use that term, and digging in, doing whatever we need to do to help what we needed to do. And, in the world of business today, sure, you could have a lot of great products and a lot of good things. But, for example, ghosting is a real big deal in business today. And this is a word that we're allergic to. When, we're the kind of organization that says we're going to partner with you. I know it sounds cheesy and schmaltzy, but if you've worked with us, you already have experienced this. I think it's important that when you're entering into these spaces or already doing these types of spaces, you're working with an organization that wants to really see things through the end. And I'm going to be on a bit of a rant here for a second, but the next thing is that what a lot of people haven't realized is that outside of the few people on this call is we've got a real breadth of expertise in the networking and connectivity space. And a lot of it is to do with the technical and everything, but we also have an incredible marketing team, additional technical support, great sales organization. So we have this well-rounded group that says whatever angle you're looking at to help you out in the networking and connectivity space, BlueStar has that. So I'm not sure if that rings a bell or that is of interest, but I would say that that's a big part of why you would want to work with us.
That should ring a bell, I would hope, for everyone, and should be inspiring of why you should be working with.
I would hope so, because, and maybe these guys will get into it a little bit, but some of the environments upon which our partners are asking us for support when it relates to networking and connectivity are unique. Warehouses are unique. Yards are unique. Mobility is unique. It's not an office environment. Restaurants
connecting
are unique.
Some laptops. Yeah,
no, right. Exactly. Yeah. So, having some knowledge base, and to Chris's point, we have a lot of that internalized, and we felt like, we need to leverage that. We need to augment our team so that we can help the partners out. At the end of the road, it's all about enabling our partners.
Yeah.
And this is a really important part of the connectivity, because I like your point, Chris, and I think Jim brought it up as well. All these things are getting blurred together, right? All these technologies are connected. You want to be a part of that. You want to be in those opportunities, get stickier with your customer, and have them rely more and more on your abilities. So anyway,
Yeah, I agree. Well, both of you mentioned the expertise going on. So let's talk about that, because we made the pitch why you should be doing this. We made the pitch why you should work with us. But let's hammer that in even more by talking about how awesome all these folks that we have on the line are, because you guys have a wealth of experience between all of you. John, we'll let you kick it off here. What's your experience and expertise in networking?
Yeah, so my name's John Haberer, and I have over 35 years of experience helping businesses plan, deploy, and support networking, servers, and storage projects. My goal is to put all that experience to work for you, BlueStar's partners.
There you go. Ken, what about you? What's your background experience with this?
Well, yeah, I've been in the telecom industry. I'm going to say only 30 years, just so that I sound younger than John. But yeah, I've done my career on the networking and communication side of things. I've been at telcos. I've been working for end users, but working within BlueStar, it kind of brings it all together. And for me, my happy place is the wireless technologies, like the Wi-Fi and the cellular, that really brings that value to the solutions and enables the customers to solve those business needs within their environments.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Mm-hmm. Chris, your turn. Give us your background.
Sure. I'll also join the geriatric gang here, and I've got just over 30 years of experience in this space, focusing mostly on the Wi-Fi side, wireless connectivity, et cetera. Obviously been involved in everything else to do with networks, and a real focus on not only just some of the technical aspects, but also on the business development aspects of why you would want to be doing this. How do we position that better? What do we want to do? So yeah.
Jim, I know you're well traveled around the channel. Give your backstory.
Oh, you youngsters here. 45 years here, 45. You could cut my career into 3 chapters is probably an easier way to say it. I began as a user, what we, everyone on this call would call the end user or the customer, deploying delivery last mile automation way back in the 80s. I thought that was going to catch hold. I didn't know the meaning of early adoption, but I didn't want to go back at the end of that project. I didn't want to go back to 5 a.m. working with Teamsters. Not that I don't like Teamsters, but I moved into developing solutions for the last mile delivery, the supply chain, if you think about it. And then I spent 18 years on the hardware side on a strategy team at Symbol, Motorola, Zebra. And I'll finish out with, of the 4 of us, I'm the more operational side, I suspect. And that's why I keep these 3 guys really close to me so I can ask the hard questions. But it's a phenomenal group to work with.
There you go.
You know, one of the things that I was thinking of a little bit here, no, you're not going to get into how long I've been around here, because I'm the youngster, actually, as it turns out. But as I mentioned, you know, leveraging the skill set is an important thing. And all these folks, all the people that you just heard from, have been in the industry for a long time. And that's really, really relevant. And maybe one of you guys can comment on this a little bit. You know, you talk about the evolution that we've seen in the marketplace as it relates to our technology, you know, the need for connectivity, the whole cloud thing that occurred. We can all remember when that started to bubble up and things like that. But now connectivity is just becoming so it's critical. It's critical to the business operation. It's no longer a nice to have. It's a need to have. And there's the whole failover thing. So, you know, make the pitch a little bit more on why resellers, if they're not in this game, and maybe Jim or Chris, you could take this, if they're not in this game, why should they seriously consider getting into connectivity and understanding this and stuff like that?
Chris, you want to go first?
Sure.
Yeah. Chris, give it a swing, because, you know, Jim gave us the 94% reason, right? 94%, there's opportunity out there. There's your addressable market. But anyway, your thoughts on why a reseller would want to get involved in this?
Well, the reseller is being asked to do more out there as we've evolved. And we know that we went through that process years ago of that I would like one throat to choke. I want to have all my stuff with one company and everything. And that's sort of evolving and changing. But I think that when you come, it reminds me of this. If you're building a home and you don't put plumbing in, you don't have water. So then you've got a home, you've got couches, you've got everything you need, but you don't have water. If you're selling on the edge, you know, and you're doing edge devices, and you not having connectivity is detrimental to you, and it's table stakes now. When I say table stakes, I mean it's a must-have at the end of the day. So if you're in that business and your customer's looking for you to be the trusted advisor as the reseller, and you're saying, I've got these 12 nice little black boxes I can sell you, and then those black boxes sit in a closet and they do whatever they need to do, without you taking advantage of connecting all of that, securing it, everything like that, you miss out on a massive opportunity. And guess what? Right now, we all know it's more than competitive out there. Everybody's looking for an extra edge.
And what do you think? It's a good segue into managed services too, right? Now you've got the connectivity going. You can help them manage these networks, stuff like it. It's a door opener to other opportunities within your business.
Can I weigh in for just a second on that? So, buzzword. I hate buzzwords because people pick up, someone says it on a stage, and then surely people that don't understand what that meant starts using buzzwords. IoT, Internet of Things.
Yep, right.
What does that mean? I'm going to give a really good example, and this kind of stretches even this conversation around networking to what Chris talked about with networking and connectivity. I was out with 2 weeks ago. I was out with one of our partners in Latin America, walking through a distribution center, very impressive distribution center, and really trying to pinpoint the problems that they had. And she pointed right down to a pallet. And she said, we are losing, and I'll save the number and I'll save the percentage, but it was an obscene amount of numbers of pallets. And I said, well, how are you losing them? She said, straight out those doors. She said, can you guys help me figure out how to solve for that? Honest to goodness, by 3 hours later, we had 3 different options for her with solution to track those pallets. One was BLE, one was RFID, and another was literally putting sensor tag, 5G sensor tags on them, to where not only could you know if they left, but you would know wherever in the world that they were. And I hate to come back to that buzzword, but that's where we are today in the industry, and the options are out there. What we've got to do is develop and maintain and grow a strategy to go after that business. It's all around us. It really is. I'll finish out with the slide that I didn't show. In that regard of IoT, I said the buzzword. One chart that we've got shows between now and 2035, secure 5G technology is going to be in a $13 trillion market for us to go get. And you say,
that was trillion with a T, correct?
That's trillion with a T.
We just went right past the billion.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
And yes, we can provide the backup report to show where we got that number. This is a business for us to go get, folks. It just really is.
Yeah. So fundamentally, having an understanding of connectivity and getting into that part of the business, to me, it's part of the overall solution.
It's another problem to solve. And if you're I assume everyone listening to this is people that like to solve problems and like to go out there and present solutions that solve problems. If you're solving problems, guess what? You're more likely to be stickier, like you put it earlier. You're more likely to be trusted. You're someone that's going to continue to get the business from your end users if you're continuing to solve problems. And this is just another problem that needs to be solved. There you go.
Totally agree.
All right. Well, then let's shift over a little bit. Kenton, let's talk about our process for going out there and getting these
Yes,
partners. Because I think that's a big
Yes.
part of this equation. I think that some people might be saying is, all right, we'll show
I'll
you.
get in, but how do I?
Yeah, we'll show
who are the
you some of our
partners?
partners
Yeah.
we got here in a bit,
Yeah.
but we also want to help you understand, like, who are we going after? Why are we going after them? So let's talk about that, Ken. What's our vetting process? When we're going out there and trying to bring in new partners in networking connectivity, whether it's the hardware, the services, software, whatever it is, how are we going out there and ensuring that we're getting the right people and bringing them on board so that we can feel comfortable that we're delivering quality solutions out to our VARs?
Exactly. So it all begins with figuring out like what are the needs in the marketplace and what do we currently have to offer. So taking a look at what's currently in our portfolio and then looking for partners, vendor partners who have those pieces to fill in some of those gaps to help bring that complete solution that Chris was referring to before. So obviously, like when we're vetting some of these organizations, you have to start on the business side, obviously, like what's their background, what's their reputation, what's their market position, all that fun stuff. But at the same time, our vendor our marketplace, our partner channel, we're not big enterprise. We're more of I don't like the word SMB because that puts a bit too much of a limitation around it, but it's more small business across a wide expanse. So a lot of our channel partners, you've got like 100, 500 locations across the continent. So then you need to have a solution that will address that type of that business challenge. So when we're looking at the technology, we need to see what types of products are they bringing, what's their portfolio, their breadth, as well as the depth of their products. On the networking side of things, obviously, like the basics of around switching and routers, but also with the access points, with the communication solutions for filling all those gaps, for addressing that huge footprint that they might have across the country. Then within those categories, what's their features and functionality? How are they addressing all those specific requirements that a customer might have? And once again, we're trying to figure out how does that all fit together with what we're currently offering, and then to spread out from there. Then another big thing for me personally, sure, you've got this product, but now you've got 500 locations. So how quickly can you deploy this? What's the provisioning process? What's the onboarding? And there's an acronym that John actually shared with me before. I hadn't heard of this one before, but EMUS, Ease of Management, Use, and Setup. So I kind of really like that. So what's involved with getting that stuff provisioned and then managing it going forward? Scalability and security, what are they bringing on that side of things? And the one aspect that's really near and dear to me, because my background, I have been a network administrator in the past, the management tools. So once you have this solution deployed, what visibility do you have within that environment? So, hey, it's great when everything's going fine, but when things start going wrong, what's happening? What's going on? Where are the trouble points? So with some of our partners, so specifically, one of our more recent partners, Zyzel, they have a platform called Nebula, where if something's going on, not only does it give you an alert, you can drill down to exactly where the problem is happening. And one of our other ones, iOnline, with their cellular product, if there's a problem with a SIM card someplace, once again, you can drill down right to where the end user is having a problem and figure out, analyze, and resolve the issues. So for me, having that capability is very fundamental in assessing these potential partners. And those ones that I was referring to, that's part of the reason why we brought them on, because of the completeness of their solution. And then finally, when we're vetting some of these, I always enjoy getting my hands on the devices and taking it for a test drive, figuring out what's under the hood. And as an end user, I put it through the paces to see, okay, well, what if I did this? What if I did this? And then how do they address those issues? And once we've done all that vetting, then we do the onboarding of them as a partner. And that's where Chris and Jim spend a lot of time to then bring that on. but that's after we've taken a look at what do these partners offer, and then how does it solve the problems of our VAR channel to bring that complete solution. As Chris was saying before, this is kind of bringing that plumbing into the whole solution to make sure they have that complete package to bring to their customers.
Man,
Very nice.
thorough, good response. I appreciate that. Yeah.
And
Just on the other, John?
John? Yeah, to add on to that, we want to make sure these companies have a lot of depth. That there's not just from their sales team, but also their tech support. There was one vendor a long time ago I dealt with, the same guy that helped me configure the equipment was the same guy answering tech support questions. We need teams of people, supporting the product, and we also need them to be scalable. So, if our partners bring us an opportunity for a 10,000 unit rollout, we want to make sure you can make them fast enough.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah. It's been interesting as we've stood up this networking practice over the last whatever. I mean, John and Kenton have been on, but Jim here recently. It's been refreshing and invigorating to watch as we onboard some of these lines, because if you ask me, they're being a little bit too modest at this point in time. Oh, we've got some questions that we like to ask, and
it's a hardcore grilling.
If you've ever been a part of the vetting criteria that Kenton and John will lay on some of these, it's like I've been involved in some of those initial calls, and it's like they'll say, oh yes, I have a question. It's like, well, just hold the phone, because we're going to get a little bit in depth here on the criteria vetting. And it's refreshing in the sense that, again, I'll just go back to our optics, our understanding our customer base, and really looking for the partners that are relevant here in our space. And sometimes that opens the door to some unique and new partners that might not be the kind of brand that you would recognize, but really fully vetted individuals and companies. To John's point, I mean, we want to know. We're putting our name behind them too. So if we're behind them, they better be able to perform. And the vetting process has been interesting to watch. Yes.
Yeah. If I can add to that too, I mean, one of the things that we finally, I think, as an organization have really done well is we've got a high-powered vetting committee and process. I think it's important to know that, and it's not just about when some product comes to my attention and I go, I need Kenton to look at it, and I send him some black boxes and he gets to rip them all apart and everything. It's easy to be bedazzled in the world of technology, and it's weekly that I'm being asked to look at products and everything. But I think it's important also that when we look at the technical aspects and the technical support aspects and who they are, is what is it like to be a partner with you as a vendor? This is a big part of what I do. There's a lot of little details that we have to do we won't get into. And then it gets down to like, I'm going to talk about it for a second here, and that is there money in it for everybody? Right? This is another thing, the networking space can be tight. And the question is can we all enjoy, not can BlueStar get everything and can the vendor get everything? If you don't walk into BlueStar as a vendor wanting to be a partner, I can tell you this: we don't need more SKUs on our line cards, right, guys? We don't need more SKUs.
That's right.
What we need people to walk beside us, and we're going to get bumpy and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think that this committee, this process, the fact that we're not bedazzled with the Me Too products out there, that are out there, and we're focusing on products that really do meet what our customers are telling us. We've nailed it now, I believe, in that. And so that's why we're seeing new and interesting things coming on that are, in a sense, mind-blowing in a way.
Well said.
Definitely. Well, then let's dig into that a little further then, because Jim, obviously you're also very involved with some of the people we've onboarded. And when you look at this list here of this line card that we're working with, some of them we've been working with for a little while now, but many of them are quite new to us. We've only been maybe with them for at most maybe a year or two.
Sometimes months.
So walk us through this, Jim. Walk us through our line card here. What are we looking at? Who are we currently working with? What do some of these folks offer? You don't have to go into every single one of them, but what should people expect out of working with us and us introducing them to these folks?
Well, and first of all, this is just a sampling, number one. It's a great sampling. And I'm not going to call out each individual one. I'd rather Kenton and John do that if they want to call out something. But I'm going to give a spectrum here. As you're looking at all these logos and you go do the scour while I'm talking, you scour their website. I look at things by segment of market, who has presence, who has right to compete, who has supportability, and even Chris's point, who can scale to a supply chain versus a retail versus a payment system, whatever. And what you're looking at here spans from the, I would call a niche, but if you're in that market, the idea of nautical connectivity is on this page. The idea of industrial and supply chain is on this page. Retail, including all the PCI compliance, on this page. Scalability and supportability across the whole of Americas is on this page. And in every one of these cases, when that specific question was asked by John or Kenton, that kind of backup validity is handed to us. And then in a couple of cases, I have actually had the pleasure of watching our custom config department run it, like with John and Hebron and Alex and Will, run some of these through their own paces as we tested for our customer, the people that might be on this call, before they take it to market. You can burn it in effectively back in our warehouse is probably the best way to say it. So this is an impressive group, and depending on your need, your vertical, your target market, this is the group for you to call to ask who to fit into where best.
Yeah. I know, Kenton, you mentioned Zyzel and iOnline already. Any others that you or John want to call out here? Do you think are partners that really should be highlighted?
Yeah, and for some of the IT type partners, partners that are already in the business and maybe doing work in the data centers or out in the edge in the closets, one partner I'd like to call out is Supermicro. They're a big server storage manufacturer, and they also make top of rack switches, or TOR is the term used for that. So we've got pretty heavy duty switches, 100 gig switches, all the way down to smaller, 4-port PoE switches. So the wired network is a big part of our offering as well. And one other thing they offer is, Jim mentioned IoT before, and another term you hear a lot is edge computing. And a unique offering Supermicro has is what they call a server on a stick. So out, for 5G deployments, we can put servers up on telephone poles. So we've got a really wide breadth of offerings here on this page.
Exactly.
I got to weigh in here. I'm going to take us back to 2018 and the statement made by Qualcomm on stage. Well, I chuckled the other day, John, when you said this to me. It was server on a stick. It was exactly server on a stick.
I'll just also chime in here for a second. So Jim was mentioning before about the whole 5G side of things. Both BEC Technologies as well as Cradlepoint, now Ericsson, they are very well positioned to leverage the advantages of what 5G cellular communications are going to be doing over the next couple of years. And we have a very strong partnership on both of those from the hardware side. And then to complete that communication solution, iOnline provides the SIM card side of things to provide those communications within those devices. So BlueStar, from the cellular 5G side of things, we are very well positioned to bring those solutions to the channel as well.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice.
I'll just put out here also.
Well, you said iOnline first, so I'll pile on just a little bit. News to come. Pay attention over the next 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. But that connectivity that is global in nature is multi-carrier, 750 plus carriers connected around the world. The architecture is unlike anything that I've seen in that world of multi-carrier. You think they're a commodity from the outside looking in because it's a SIM. But the minute you peel back the onion, it's very different. And again, there's going to be some news I'm just going to say at satellite level coming through, available to you, our sellers, from our partners that will just, it's a game changing. It's a first. Let's just leave it at that. And then on the other side of the equation, those of you who focus in government, federal, state, local, Canada, US, parts of Latin America that are, let's call it America friendly, that there will be some great news in this regard, in this kind of connectivity coming from that as well. So this is what we look like today, and we continue to scour and look for what the market needs for tomorrow, and so just watch for us to do that. And the best guidance that I might have, of when you see something pop up, you will have our contact, you've got our phone numbers, you've got our emails. Call us and ask us what that's about.
There you go. But I'll just put out too that we've made a commitment to like feature as many of these folks as we possibly can.
Yes.
I look on this list, Mako, Zyzel, and iOnline have all had one of these webinars in the last 6 to 8 months or so. So, we're making a point out of introducing you to these folks, helping you understand who they are, what they offer, and what they can do for you. Chris, what were you going to add?
So John, before you move that slide, just for fun, okay, I mean, that's a pretty powerful set of vendors that we have in here. But listen, who's got the coolest logo? Do you got people that can chat and put their opinion in? Like I already know who it is on my end, but can anybody comment? Like, who's got the coolest logo?
There you go. If you got a thought, throw it in the chat. I'll take a look and see what everyone has to say.
For me, it's Mako because I love sharks. But anyway,
you got to go with Mako, right? Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty solid.
You can't really go wrong with that one. That one's pretty neat. I like iOnline's a lot too because I like their color scheme. But you can't really tell here as much. You go visit their website, like that orange color is all over the place. One of those colors you wouldn't think would work as well as it does, but it actually does. So.
But it's not part of our vetting process. It's not part of our vetting process.
That's fair, Chris. Right? Yeah.
Cool.
That's a
not
good point.
Criteria. If they have a wicked logo, they're in. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt, but it's not where we stop on our vetting process.
So funny.
Great point. All right. Well, hey, let's wrap up here by talking a little bit about how we're going to help you go out and do this as well. Because again, maybe you're not used to working with us. Maybe you're not selling this stuff already. Maybe you already are selling this stuff, but you're like, I don't know what BlueStar can offer me, or maybe I do just enough, but I rely on some other folks to take care of the on the ground needs. And we're not going to just leave you hanging. We believe in offering up services and a little bit extra to help you get over that hump and actually get where you need to go with these solutions. So, John, I'm going to let you kind of start talking about this. Like, what are we offering out there to make sure that they can deliver these solutions to their end users in a timely and easy fashion?
Yeah, so BlueStar actually has a network of services partners where we can help you guys, our partners, deliver services out in the field. So we can provide you with, on-demand manpower with the nationwide network of licensed installers and field consultants for things such as on-site installation of the networking equipment, including cabling and integration, on-site fee-based wireless assessments. So a customer wants to implement a wireless network in their warehouse for all their scanners and mobile computers. They need to know where and how many access points to put in there. We can do an on-site survey that tells you exactly where and how many, or we can do what's called a predictive survey, oftentimes at no cost to you, to run it through our mapping tool and find that information out as sort of a budgeting process. We also, want to, provide just about, anything you guys ask us for. We'll figure out a way to get it done that relates to the networking and connectivity process. So if you're interested in finding out more about those field services, definitely mention that on the survey after this presentation.
Yeah, that's some really good stuff that he mentioned there. The assessment, we get called to do that all the time. They've got some whiz bang tools where they can do that remotely, right, John? Doing the remote assessment and getting kind of a baseline of where we think it could go. All these services are meant to amplify the reseller, right? Because not all of our customers have the technical expertise. And of course, we can't be everywhere, BlueStar. So we rely on, just as much as we're vetting the lines, the hardware manufacturers, the software folks that get involved. Same process for these service organizations. And we've actually had quite a few of them for years at this point, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole list of questions we've got put together, we can get very in-depth on it. What type of client devices, how many client devices, what are you storing on your shelves in the warehouse, to figure out how much, how much interference there's going to be from what's in there. So whole list of things.
Now, we're offering that in Canada as well. Somebody asked that. We're offering those services in Canada as well, right?
Yes.
That's correct. And I was just going to follow up on that real quick to what John was saying. Some of our VAR partners who currently aren't selling networking, sometimes partners are a little bit intimidated about networking. It's kind of this nebulous, scary stuff. But the message is that BlueStar is here as a partner to help our VAR channel. But if you have any questions around the networking, feel free to call myself on the Canadian side of things, John on the American side of things, and we can provide that support to help you assess and identify those networking opportunities.
Yeah.
And once the opportunity comes in, we can help as well in a variety of other services that BlueStar has, whether it's pre-configuring hardware, items that need to be shipped. If I could throw out the phrase shipping it hot, I mean, we can help with the installation. Jim, I'm sorry if I just stole your thunder there. I apologize, but we can ship with the SIM involved, installed, those types of things. So, I mean, we've got those services that can help, whether it's software and imaging, helping to set up with the overall solution. We can help with that. Labeling, kitting, a lot of times.
Jump to that next slide there. It shows some of that stuff.
Oh, there you go. Yes, absolutely. Imaging of PCs and stuff like that, testing and quality assurance. They've already touched on it, how we're doing that as a part of our vetting process. But we've also helped a number of customers as they're doing rollouts, and testing the configuration of the components and the solution. Sometimes you need experts in the room that understand, in this case, networking, the networking gear and stuff like that, and how it's going to impact the overall solution. So these are all a basket of services that we've accumulated over the years for the express reason of simply helping the resellers amplify their capabilities and what they can do.
Exactly. John, a quick question someone else did throw in is what utility do we use, I guess, related to the field stuff?
Yeah, so the utility, is available to us from most of our manufacturers that we represent. It's all cloud-based. There's a couple different utilities. Names of them don't come to my head right off the top of my head right now, but I can certainly get that information to you.
Cool. Anything else any of the rest of you wanted to add around, what we do, the services that we offer to make these deployments as easy as possible?
Well, if I can weigh in with this slide on the screen, that custom config, as I stepped into BlueStar, the first experience I had was literally the custom config department. And at the same time, I had a little bit of a comedy story. We had a helping consultant with the customer that helping consultant seemed to browse Google and enter another candidate for us to test. And it would seem that every time we had a phone call, there was 3 more, and you would say, well, how did you get these? Well, I found them on the web and they looked interesting and they sent me a device. So John unfortunately would have to deal with me saying hello, adding a device, and then taking it back to this very custom config. The positive side to that was that we got a great deal of insight as to who does what well, is probably the best way to say that. And then finally, I got control of that consultant, and he stopped doing that. I said, okay, we're up to 12 that we're looking at now. Let's pause. I think we've got a winner in here somewhere. But that custom config can do literally exactly what John said, and everything you're reading here. And what's not on here, that same configuration team is the group that ships connectivity hot out of our Hebron to whatever destination points that your project might allow. Think about a project that has 20 DCs. You just sold all the handhelds for those 20 DCs. We can actually have them arrive at those 20 DCs loaded with connectivity and ready to go.
Yep.
That's awesome.
They light up right when you turn them on. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what end users want, like they want everything just to work as soon as it's
Absolutely.
just like us, just like regular people. So,
Yeah.
Dean, do you have anything else you wanted to add?
Nope. No,
All right.
no.
Well, this is the point where we're going to ask, open it up for some questions. If you haven't, for some reason, got enough of a gist of what we can do for you and what we can offer, and you still want to learn a little bit more and you have a specific question, now's the time to ask it. Open up your GoToWebinar dashboard, go to the questions section, type it in there. If you want to direct a question to a particular panelist, please type their name in it as well. While you're doing that, hey, if you're out there looking for some interesting and useful content that can help you get a competitive edge or learn where your next growth hack is, we'll jump over the next slide there, Dean.
Yes.
First of all, we got the BlueStar Nation podcast.
That's right.
I mean, come on, why wouldn't you want to do that? Each week on the pod, Dean and I interview the best and the brightest around the channel to dive into market trends, hot technologies, explore industry opportunities. Sometimes we just riff on hot topics in tech, science, business, and entertainment, our Tech Bites series.
Absolutely.
There's lots of stuff here for everybody. Highly recommend checking it out. You can find it on the BlueStar Inc. YouTube page or anywhere you get podcasts. But that's not all. We also have our BlueStar Nation blog, which is where we create very thoughtful and deliberate articles for VARs, ISVs, MSPs. We've got sales and marketing tips. There are executive interviews, discussions of emerging technologies. But I think the real stars of the show here are our end user surveys.
Absolutely.
We are going out and collecting data from actual owners, executives, decision makers, at the kind of people that you are trying to talk to and work with. We collate that data together, get a good idea of what's happening with these particular businesses, what their challenges are, what their needs are, what they're looking for in technology, and how they make those decisions. And we deliver that content for you for no charge. It's
right.
free.
No, it's their business intelligence that they can use next time they're calling on their customers.
Exactly. So
with a particular need. Yeah.
See some examples right there on screen.
Absolutely.
Check that out. If you go to nation.bluestarinc.com, you can find that blog.
Yes.
All right, let's get to some questions here. We got one that's come in so far. Where in Canada do you have service?
Go ahead.
Well, good question. Is it cellular coverage service or field service?
Let's answer both. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cellular everywhere.
Yeah. Kenton, go ahead and answer that one.
Well, sure. So in Canada, the Canadian head office is in Montreal, but we've got sales offices in Toronto and in Western Canada. But we cover all of Canada. We've got reps across the country. We can provide products anywhere in the country as well. I'm not quite sure if that's what the question is intended for, but Chris, can you provide any extra color on that?
Well, and again, I mean, because of networking, our pre-sales support, if you want to call it service, is in helping you design bombs and helping you to sort of make sure that you have the right components and everything in there. We offer that already, both in all of North America. Canada, we have it. Kenton heads up that for us there. Again, I think that whoever wrote that question, if you want to drill down a little bit, but we've been around for quite a while, so I think we've been doing a fairly good job of taking care of all things. Do we do installations? No, we don't do installations technically in terms of, unless we do it through our reseller, right? Our reseller is the one guiding it. Do we offer some things that our resellers can take advantage of? Absolutely. If they don't want to, no.
So we have resellers all the way from Halifax to Vancouver. So it's all across the country, and I've supported our partners in all of those locations. So the short answer is yes, we're all across Canada.
Related question, kind of an elephant in the room kind of question. Is there any impact when it comes to tariffs for selling this stuff into Canada?
Oh, the tariff elephant.
Yes. We always got to throw that out there.
Well, Canada is subject to the same thing. If the product is landing, not to get into a technical conversation, but if the product is coming from overseas and landing into the US and then shipping up to Canada, we will have the subject to whatever the tariff is on that. There are some things we're doing that I'm not going to talk about right now because we're not quite there yet that might help out in alleviating that. and so on and so forth. But I think tariffs are like taxes right now. It's inevitable in some shape or form, and I think we're all just trying to figure out each day, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So true.
Can I back up to that Canadian coverage question just to make sure we check all the boxes of what that possibly could have been? If it's about connectivity, the answer is yes. And if it's about connectivity in a sparse area or on the top of a mountain where there are no towers, give us 2 or 3 weeks and the answer will be yes again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
All right, here's another question. Are edge gateways compatible with Open VPN IPsec? Sorry, there's a small type for me to read here. For secure backhaul to the cloud.
Ooh. Dun, dun, dun. That sounds like a trivia question.
Yeah, that's a capability that we actually, it's part of our Eye Online offerings.
Okay.
So so that's a big part of that.
Yeah, and those solutions can be provided through multiple vendors that we have. So again, that's kind of another one of those, it's a narrow question, but it's a big question. The short answer is we have products that will address that, yes.
Perfect. All right, we're stalled on questions at the moment. I do have a quick question myself I wanted to ask you guys is, you hear about a lot of stuff like CBRS, 5G, Wi-Fi 7, all this new stuff coming out there. And I know a lot of our vendor partners are starting to create devices that are compatible with this stuff. What are you guys hearing about all of this right now? Are any of these standing out to you, or do you have any thoughts on those particular solutions that you feel like we should address here?
Yeah, relative to private wireless or CBRS, we've had a lot of conversations about it. We've even created a lot of bill of materials, but it's still in its infancy. We're not getting a lot of traction just yet in terms of invoices for selling that type of product. But we have the capability, and we've talked about it a lot. And some of the different use cases. A lot of times it's outdoors, also warehouses. Customers may say, well, I don't want to spend all that money to implement Wi-Fi and put access points everywhere in the warehouse. If we could do it with just a couple, private wireless type devices and get coverage that way. And of course, the client devices that you're using are going to have to support the frequencies for the private wireless. So, you want to make sure, that implementation goes along with maybe an upgrade to all the mobile computers. You may have to get rid of those ones that you've been running for the last 10 years. Time to do an upgrade.
That's an opportunity.
Yep.
That's right. Yep.
Definitely.
Exactly. And on the CBRS question, there are some differences in the rules around frequency use between the United States and Canada. So that's some of the other things that John and I always look into is from the technical implications with some of those products as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you addressed that. That was going to be my next question, is if there's any particular differences in selling this stuff, because I know there's some of our partners that sell in both. And
yeah, right.
Is there any complications selling between Canada versus US? So good answer. All right. I don't see any other questions coming in just now. We'll give it maybe another moment or so here. Any final thoughts that you guys have before we do wrap up here? Jim, how about you? You got anything last you want to add there?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is mission accomplished. If the listeners are looking for experts in networking connectivity, they found us. Reach out, please.
Definitely. Chris, what were you going to add?
I was going to say, we're not an organization that brags all the time and stuff like that, which is probably why you may not hear a lot about what we do with networking and connectivity. But we're really, really seeing the uptick right now. We're really seeing the engagement happening. We really have ironed out a tremendous amount of phenomenal of vendors to do this right now. Our story, what we're doing today, is now we're bringing to the world the real story of BlueStar's networking and connectivity practice. And I just have one invitation to those that are out there listening to us right now, and that is just give us a try. It won't hurt to give us a try. If you're new to us, give us a try. If you've been a friend of ours for quite some time, it's easy for you to give us a try. Even if it's as simple as I'm a point of sale reseller, and I'd like to get into providing Wi-Fi into the restaurants and things like that I sell to. what would I do? How would I do it? How do you make me feel a little safer and better with doing that? Just give us a try would be my invitation.
I like it.
I like it too. Yep,
That's a
absolutely.
good place to
Good
end it
point.
too, then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah, and if
point,
there's more
Chris.
topics, if there's more topics you guys want to see a podcast about in the future, definitely mention that on the survey. As it relates to networking and connectivity.
Yeah, no doubt. Dean and I are always happy to find new podcast topics.
That's absolutely it.
Makes my job a lot easier going out there and fishing for
100%.
new
Yes.
discussion points. So yes,
Absolutely.
we appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, I didn't get any other extra questions here. If you're watching this recording later, you're watching the podcast or something, and you do have a question, or maybe you think of something you wish you'd ask, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, you've got this fantastic team. You're welcome to reach out to any of them at any time. You can respond to any of the emails that you received about this webinar, and I'll be happy to get you to the right folks, or just reach out to your BlueStar account manager as well. All right. Hey, folks, we hope that you have enjoyed this webinar. If you, dear podcast listener, have additional questions of your own, or you want to learn more, you can always leave us a comment if you're watching on YouTube. Check out the networking connectivity page on BlueStar Inc. I'm surprised we got through all this and I haven't messed that
That's
word
a tongue
up.
twister,
Yeah.
yes. Mm-hmm.
We've also linked that in our show notes. Or as always, you can contact us directly here on the show, nation@bluestarinc.com. All right, Dean, let's wrap things up.
Yep.
Do you have any final takeaways or thoughts from this discussion we've had today? I know we said we weren't going to talk a lot, but anything else you want to add on the networking and connectivity needs in this amazing team that we have working on this stuff?
Yeah. And indeed, we didn't really talk all that much.
No.
Maybe I talked a little too much. Well, I don't know.
You did.
Yeah, of course. No, but in all seriousness, I mean, to me, this is absolutely an opportunity.
Yes.
And so I think you teed it up perfectly. Like a lot of our folks, they're selling equipment all day long, every day.
Yep.
Why not be in the connectivity and the networking part of it? You need to be, because your competitors are getting involved. You don't want other people getting in there with the solution. Your end users are using this. It's a need. It's no longer. Yep. I think Chris said it during the thing. It's table stakes. You got to have this. All needs connectivity. So I know that's kind of a wild west to get into, and you might have some anxiety about getting into it. That's why we tried to expose this team. I guess it's nearly 100 years of experience,
120 plus
120 plus years
combined
of experience. Dude, leverage these folks. I mean, they're great people too. So if you just get engaged with them, whatever step of that process, wherever you have the technology gap on your side of the fence, we can help you there. So that's why we're standing up this whole practice. So don't let that opportunity go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is not an optional aspect of a solution.
No,
it's just not. Everything's got to be connected,
Yeah.
and these solutions need connectivity.
Absolutely.
Jim has always referred to, you mentioned this when we had him on that Eye Online podcast, this idea of account control. Like adding this to your solution stack is just one more piece that can make you, as you put it, really sticky for your customers. Gives you that credibility with them. And again, we're really focused on bringing you that expertise. Again, even if you aren't convinced, give our folks 30 minutes of your time and they'll help determine what's right for you and for your business to go out there and sell this stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, Dean, let's wrap up as always with what's on our radar. This is where we talk about anything in the world of tech, business, solutions, science, innovation.
I got none of that today.
Just a random crazy topic.
That I have.
About. All right,
yeah. Well, actually, I got two of them for you. But did you participate at all in Prime Day?
I did.
It feels like Christmas in July, doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel like though, maybe it's just because I've just bought too much crap over the years that I've reached this point where I find myself not finding as much stuff anymore as I used to.
Okay.
It's more of I just restock on things that I would normally buy, and
so that was part of what I was, because the family, whatever, we had some group chats going on and stuff like that. Of course, my daughters are always in the Amazon app, and they're alerting us, hey, this stuff that we buy all the time is now 20% off. So do you want me to throw it in the basket and stuff like that? So at the end of the road, we did some of that, but I guess Prime Day drove over 24 billion in e-commerce sales. That's equivalent to 2 Black Fridays. So somehow Amazon is managed to do exactly, I guess, what they set out to do. You got the Black Friday, now you got Amazon Prime Day, which is anchoring, I guess, our annual consumption.
I feel like we're just adding to this problem now, with this monster we've created.
Yeah, but here's the tech angle that I was impressed by. They call it, with traffic from generative AI products increasing 3,300%
year over year. Now, they didn't give you the exact statistics, but I think what this means is people using LLMs, people using generative AI to query products, that they might be interested in. So what Amazon is saying is that, yeah, you can go to the Amazon site and blah, 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 but they're seeing a dramatic increase of queries coming from generative AI. Which I presume to be like LLMs.
Yeah.
So, it's like we talk about, you start to hear a lot of this conversation going on in web development worlds. Like, is the web dead? I mean, is everything just going to be
Google get replaced by the LLMs?
Yeah, you're just going to have your agentic AI, whatever, Gemini little tool that you use. Right. It's going to start understanding you. Yeah. And it's like pre-ordering some of this stuff for your probiotics or I'm just gonna. You don't even know it. It just shows up, and like, hey, my AI is working.
You seem stressed. I sent you this 6-pack.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I sensed a little tension in your voice. So
that last time when you asked me a question and didn't like the answer, and you called me a bad name, here's your 6-pack. Yeah.
There you go. So I found that to be fascinating. I don't know. They didn't equate it to how many billions or millions or whatever dollars came through that, but a 3,300% increase year over year, that is fascinating. So, and that just further illustrates, maybe because we've talked about if AI is going to take over our jobs and whether or not we're going to have anything to do. Well, Starbucks employees, they have to go back to work. It's like this post-COVID thing. Right. So I guess if you want to keep your job, you got to start showing up for your job. So
are we talking about Starbucks office employees?
This has got to be office employees.
I was like, I didn't know the baristas were able to work from home. I mean, come get your coffee at this address.
So they're ordered to work in person 4 days a week, starting in October, or they can take payouts. So that's the way they're approaching. Like, hey, come back 4 days a week, or take this payout or whatever it is. So there you go. Some leaders are going to have to relocate to the headquarters within 12 months. So I don't know, man. Yeah, I feel like that bubble's popping a little bit, but we'll see. A little bit. Anyway, what's on your radar?
Well, back in the day when you were a kid, I know you're a little older than me, but I went to Chuck E. Cheese a few times.
Oh, yes.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And was Chuck E. Cheese still a thing for your kids?
Oh, yeah.
When they were younger, too?
Yes. Well, my older kids, for sure.
They're still out there.
It's still out there.
I feel like it's not like nearly as popular as it was in its heyday in the 80s in particular.
Yeah.
Well, apparently Chuck E. Cheese is wanting to cash in on that nostalgia.
Oh.
Coming out of, they had a bankruptcy and shut down, obviously, during the pandemic, and then went bankrupt that same year.
But can you think of a worse place, by the way, to be during COVID than Chuck E. Cheese?
Those places are
God love them.
A cesspool of germs on a perfectly good day. Let alone in the middle of a pandemic. So yes, it was quite a smart idea for them to shut down, but obviously led to some financial troubles for them. And they've been reopening and trying to get back into it. And a part of that now apparently is trying to capitalize on the nostalgia effect by bringing adults in to a new arcade concept called Chuck's Arcade.
Chuck's Arcade.
Yes. So the company, who always their slogan was "Where a kid can be a kid," I guess is now where an adult can pretend to be a kid again. I don't know. So they're opening 10 Chuck's Arcade locations at shopping malls in 8 states. Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana area is not one of them. You'd have to, I guess the closest one would be Georgia, maybe.
Wow.
I mean, it's pretty far off. You got to go. Missouri, I suppose, is not too terribly far, but that's nothing terribly close to where we are. But they're trying them out. But there's more potentially on the way. They have more than 500 Chuck E. Cheese locations around the country still, which I'm actually surprised there's that many.
Yeah, true.
So basically, this is a concept again that's going to combine the nostalgia of the old Chuck E. Cheese with like some of the animatronic characters, classic arcade games, along with some of the newer, more popular stuff.
That's kind of cool.
They're even going to have old merch available for purchase.
Yeah.
And potentially even have prizes. Like, you could win prizes at the place. Marco just threw his arms in there. Play some skee ball for a few hours so you can get a bunch of tickets.
Do you remember all those tickets? Oh my
god. And all you could get was just one, I don't know, one random squish ball. Yeah. That you lost
I got
5 days
10,000 tickets.
Even though your parents spent $50 for you to win to get that one squish ball.
Did you mention a bar of any sort?
Well, it's funny you asked. I thought the same thing. I was like, because I don't know if you've been to a Chuck E. Cheese in a while, you actually can get alcoholic beverages.
Oh, I didn't realize that. No,
so while your kids are out doing their thing, you can have a beer alongside your kind of intolerable pizza.
Right. Yes.
And at least make the time go by a little
Yes.
bit. There was a period of time when I believe they took that away, and I believe they've added it back. I might be wrong, but I think they've added that back.
Yeah,
Chuck's Arcade, however, says that there will be locations. Apparently, right now it's only one that's doing it.
Okay.
But there will be some that will have beer, wine, soft drinks, and icy beverages. Forget if you really want to act like a kid, alongside pizza and wings. They're still keeping that menu.
I think you kind of have to. Right?
so
I mean,
too.
at least have the offering.
Well, I mean, because okay, let's be honest. This is a concept that essentially is trying to compete with like the Dave and Buster's of the world, or there's other like arcade type venues out there that have restaurants and bars built into them as well.
Well, bro, there's like pin duck bowling around here.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
There's just so many of these things that are kind of around.
Fusion
so to compete
of like
with that,
gaming.
yes,
Yeah, you've kind of got to do that.
Yeah.
So in other news, apparently the Charles Entertainment cheese. I don't know if you knew the E.
I did not realize
entertainment.
that. Oh, I got you.
The franchise is also working on other things, including a Christmas special that they are working on and lending
What?
their name to.
They're going to stream on.
I don't know, and
okay.
as well as a game show based on the arcade experience.
Oh my lord!
So
Oh.
Chuck E. Cheese still trying to stay relevant.
Well, it sounds like the
in the year
brand is
2025.
trying to revive itself,
Yes.
right?
And again, I think they're banking heavily on the nostalgia factor. And I admit,
Yeah.
I loved going
Right.
there as a kid.
Yeah.
It was one of those places that was just ridiculously cool.
Yeah.
And
So
fun.
despite the bad food, you have a warm and fuzzy feel about
Yeah,
the brand.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So
Yeah, they're gonna
there you go.
leverage that. There you
That's
go.
what's on our radar this week.
Fair enough.
All right, folks, that does it for us. Again, if you have any questions about networking connectivity, please reach out.
Yes.
We are really proud of what we're doing there, and
Yeah.
we have that amazing team. So in the spirit of our former podcast name, in this episode's subject, everyone please stay connected and networked. Something?
There you go. Yeah.
See you out there in the nation, folks.